I think versus CPU mode is just as important as robot netcode. I think it's just as important. What it do, YouTube? It's your boy, back with another video, and today I want to discuss the topic of what I think is important for the fighting games, specifically the old ones, and that to me is a versus CPU mode, like a dedicated versus CPU mode, kind of how like Capcom does in the collections that they make. So I got 5 reasons on why I think that versus CPU mode should be in those old games. So I got 5 reasons right here. Now, you might have an opinion on it. You might not think this is necessary. That's fine. You have your own opinion. But these are my opinions on the old fighting games. So number 1 is online shutdown. Now, online shutdown, usually they don't do that until, 15, 20 years later. They eventually will do that, I feel like. If that's the case, they shut that down. All that leaves for the player, for the consumer, the customer, arcade mode. Some people might think that's fine, and that's going to be a problem. You're going to either have arcade or play with your friends. Number 2, that leads me to number 2. Number 2 is arcade mode gets boring, bro. Sometimes arcade mode gets boring because some people don't realize it, but arcade mode, you're kind of just playing against the same computer over and over. At least if you pay attention to like Street Fighter 30th Anniversary Collection, if you play Marvel vs. Capcom Collection, arcade mode at least. Any of the other ones that have arcade that doesn't have a versus CPU mode, you'll notice that you're kind of playing against the same computer, the same stages, over and over and over, and you're fighting them over and over and over. That can get repetitive, bro, is my opinion. Now, I got OCD, so I might think that's, some people that might differ. Some people, they don't think that's such a big deal. I think it kind of plays a little into it, because I got OCD. I'm going to be real. That kind of probably plays a part in my mental state, but but just playing that over and over and over, bro, like, I mean, that gets boring after a while. That's just my opinion. Number three, right? So number 3 would be you can learn how to play the game more comfortably, bro, because you're not playing against nobody online. You're not playing with the scrubs online. Well, I understand there's a training mode, I love training mode. I think that's another essential part of fighting games. You have to have a training mode. But I think we're already well past that. But also, you can have fun with it. You can learn how to play the game. You can have fun. You don't have to constantly be freaking beaten up by your opponent, bro, that's been playing the game for 20 years, bro. You could just play it by yourself and learn the game, and who knows, you might be able to take that online and you could be one of the best players of all time. Like, you could be on some Justin Wong shit, some IFC hype shit. Like, bro, you could be on that shit, right? So that's what I'm saying. Like, you could have fun with it. You could play it on your level and take your time with it. When it comes to versus CPU mode, because you're playing versus the CPU, and you can turn the difficulty up, you could turn the difficulty down if it's too hard for you, and that just goes for like the casual people. But casuals, they probably gonna play arcade mode anyway. But I'm just saying, like, that's how I think. And another thing I want to add is, you could select, like I said in my second reason, you see the same stages, you see the same characters over and over, right? But if you play versus CPU, kind of like how it does in, I keep bringing up Marvel vs. Capcom, but I just love the collection so much. They did such a good job with it. And Smash Brothers, my favorite fighting game ever, right? There's so many stages you can pick from, and you could play, like, I mean, you could just play that shit all day. And just at least for me, and not get bored of it, because you're not saying the same thing over and over. So that's what I wanted to add. Now, number 5, some people might not want to play online all the time. Robot netcode, it's cool and everything. Online is cool and everything, but not everybody wants to play online, bro. Not everybody wants to get their ass kicked. Not everybody wants to, deal with that online. Not everybody wants to play online all the time, bro. So that's another one, and I put / have friends to play with. Not everybody has friends to play with. I don't have friends to play with. And even if I do have friends, right, they don't really like fighting games, so you're not gonna always have a friend that likes fighting games as much as you do. Cause I love fighting games, bro. As you can see, I have a bunch of fighting games on this channel. Shameless plug. You should go watch, bro. Like, I love fighting games, bro. I got into fighting games around 2023, and I've been playing them ever since. Now I did play them. I did play fighting games earlier when I was a kid, like Smash Brothers, which is that was my first. Well, actually, technically, Street Fighter. Okay, so Street Fighter 4 was technically my first fighting game I ever played. Like, I played it at my little cousin's house, at my uncle's house, right? We was playing on the PS3. We was playing Street Fighter Arcade Edition, Super Street Fighter Arcade Edition 4, Street Fighter 4 Arcade Edition. We was playing that. That was the very first time I ever played Street Fighter. That was the very first time I ever played a fighting game. And then I got, eventually I got to, the 3DS. When I got my own, I got a 3DS, and then I played Smash Brothers, which, I got a whole nother video on that, bro. I love Smash Brothers so much, bro. I get it. It's not actually, like, technically a fighting game, like a traditional fighting game, so I don't really count it anymore, but I love it, though. But anyways, okay, so back to the topic, right? So, not everybody has friends to play with, bro. Not everybody has friends to play with. Not everybody wants to play online. In a versus CPU mode, it's literally perfect for that, bro. You could just play that by yourself. Ultimately, it's just the single player. Like, there should be... I wish companies would just... When they put out old video games, because the new ones are not that bad, they always put versus CPU mode. I'm not, like I said, I'm not talking about those... I'm not talking about modern games, fighting games. I'm not talking about modern fighting games because, like I said, like I keep saying over and over, they already have a versus CPU mode, like a dedicated one. So I don't count those. Those are fine. Those are good, and I'm glad companies do that. But when it comes to their old catalog and when they re-release them, a lot of times if you really pay attention, there's never a versus CPU mode. It's just either arcade or versus regular standalone versus mode. Now you might think that, oh, arcade mode is the same thing as versus mode. No, it's not. Because versus CPU mode is like if I had a person next to me and we were both playing. Like, you can pick the stages. You could just pick so much more. You could customize as much as you want. Arcade mode is just the arcade mode. You're just playing against the CPU, yes, but you're just playing against that same CPU over and over. If you turn the game on again, you're just going to restart it again, and you're going to play it again. And like I said, that goes back to what I said earlier, you're just playing the same thing over and over. So that's why those are the 5 reasons why I think versus CPU mode is important. I think versus CPU mode is just as important as robot netcode. I think it's just as important. Not only are you preserving the games, bro, oh yeah, number 4, I forgot, I'm sorry. Number 4, you're preserving the games, bro, for the future. You gotta think about it. You can't just think of, the game now. Yeah, you can play online now, but what about 10, 15 years later? What are you gonna do then? And when it's shut down? Like, some people don't have friends to play with, like I said, and then you're not gonna always, So that's what I'm saying. That's why I think those versus CPU modes are so important for old games, bro. Because it preserves them. Like, in my opinion, I think Marvel vs. Capcom, CVS2, all those games are gonna last for a long, long time. Simply because they did what? They put a versus CPU mode in. I think it literally preserved those games for such a long time, bro. Because when those servers go down, hopefully they don't, but then you could have something to play. So yeah, that's my opinion on versus CPU mode. I wish it would be pushed more. I really, really wish it was pushed more. But, I mean, who knows? Who knows? Who knows? Maybe I get big enough and actually get them to push it more. But, we'll see. So, I hope you guys liked the video. I hope you guys... let me know what you guys think. Is it important? Is it not important? Let me know what you guys think. I think it's important. And, hope you guys liked the video. Like, subscribe. And, peace, homies.